Mr. Slave Service Messenger, and seal the prophet's peace be upon the prophet, upon his descendants, upon his companions, and upon the righteous throughout the world, and peace be unto you. As-salam. Alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. We're thankful to Allah for this blessed month of Ramadan. That's why we say Ramadan Mubarak. It's a blessed month. In fact, the Quran itself, Allah says, is a book that is full of blessings. In fact, this is the month of the Quran. This is the month in which the Quran was sent down as guidance for man, as the Quran states. We read the Quran, we begin every surah except one with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. And we talked before last week about Allah's mercy and why that was so important. And the Prophet Muhammad said that Ramadan is in 3 parts, and the first 10 days is mercy. And you find as you read the Quran, Allah clearly tells us that He is all forgiving, most merciful. So the second 10 days, which we're in now, is forgiveness. The first 10 days, mercy. And we talked last week, we talked about the verse where Allah says, Huwa alladhi yusawwirukum fil arham, that it is He who shapes you in the wombs. In fact, it says it is He who shapes you in the womb as He wills. And we said that Ramadan was a womb. This is a womb just like the womb that the child grows in. In fact, Ramadan is the 9th month. 9 clearly shows us the process of transformation, that the baby comes out. If it's a normal birth, a normal delivery comes out in 9 months. And that baby comes out of the womb to make a contribution to the world. And we said that Muhammad the Prophet, peace be upon him, went into the cave. That was a womb where the process of revelation began. It was in that point that one verse or one word, the process began of Iqra Bismi Rabbika Alladhi Khalaq. See? And the attribute that is in there, that Allah is the one who is evolving all that He created. So He says, Huwa alladhi yusawwirukum fil arham. Now the word for womb is mercy. And Allah shapes us in His mercy. In fact, He said, had it not been for His mercy, none of us would be in existence. He tells us also that His mercy exceeds His punishment. Over and over and over again, Allah reminds us of how merciful He has been and He is being in our lives right now, today. So the first 10 days of this blessed month was mercy. And all you have to do is just think about your life. Just reflect on where you've come from, what you've been engaged in, and even if life has been challenging, with all that's going on, you can see that Allah's mercy has been over your life. So this is why, as believing Muslims, we're very, very thankful to Allah for what He has done and what He's doing for us right now as we sit and stand here today. So the first 10 days is mercy. And the Prophet Muhammad says that the second 10 days is forgiveness. And Allah says that He is Ghafuru Rahim, the forgiving, the merciful. There's a hadith, the Prophet Muhammad says this: if you did not commit sins and turn to Allah seeking His forgiveness, He would have replaced you with another people who would have sinned and asked for His forgiveness, and He would forgive them. See, the only way Allah can be the all-forgiving is we have to fall short. See, He wants to forgive us. And forgiveness is so important because the psychological burden, the weight that people carry, the shame and the guilt that people carry, thinking they'll never be forgiven. But through Muhammad the Prophet, Allah says that he's so into forgiving that he would replace you with another people. If you didn't seek his forgiveness, here's the picture he wants to let us know how valuable it is for our development. That if you didn't see the value of forgiveness, he said he would replace you with another people who, when they sin and ask for his forgiveness, he would forgive them. So in other words, he's always given us new starts. See, the mercy, here's another start. The forgiveness, we release the burden, the weight of guilt, how we wronged our own souls. And then the burden of guilt holds people back. You know, I've done so much wrong, I don't think I can do any good. People have that in their mind, I don't think I can do anything good. And then I don't believe that I've done so much wrong that people would forgive me. And they just continue down the path of doing a disservice to themselves and other people. But Allah says he's all forgiving, most merciful. So he said that if you did not fall short, commit sins and violate, and turn to him seeking his forgiveness, he would replace you. See, he wants people who have enough smarts and intelligence. See, that's intelligent. That Allah tells you he's all forgiving. And I want to turn to him and release the pain in my soul. Because that's what this month is all about. This month is about purification. This month itself, we say Ramadan is about burning off those blocks that interfere with our development. And the guilt becomes a block that interferes with progress. Envy becomes a block that interferes with progress. Jealousy becomes a block. Hate becomes a block. So Ramadan comes to burn off the selfishness, to burn off the greed that blocks progress. Because Allah says Ramadan is the month in which was sent down the Quran as Huda Linas. See, Ramadan is the month that was sent down this great revelation for guidance for the connecting being, the being that understands there's an urge in him to connect with other human beings. But all these blocks that come in the process begin to interfere with the flow of connection. Because that's what Nas is. Nas is the social being who understands that within their being is the urge to bond with other people. And if we don't burn off these blocks, we'll limit our progress. So he says Ramadan is the month in which was sent down the Quran as guidance for man. The Quran, great revelation. This great revelation ignited a great revolution. That's what the Quran did. The Quran came down and it ignited change. That's what revolution is all about. Revolution is about change. That's why the whole process of the baby being in the womb, we say Ramadan is the womb. The baby is growing in the womb, growing from, as the Quran says, stage to stage. From smallness to bigness, and then when the baby comes out of the womb, it's not fully developed. When we come out of this womb called Ramadan, there's still room for growth. Ramadan is preparing us to make our contribution in the world. To be Abdullah, a slave servant of Allah who understand that they have the capacity to serve other people. So as the life begin to transform in the womb in the 9 months of development, of maturation, just like Muhammad the Prophet was in that womb when the revelation came down. I told you before, he went in one way. See, because Muhammad the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the common man known as Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Said Ramadan is the month in which was sent down the Quran. He went in the womb isolation. And Allah was shaping him, preparing him for greater responsibility. He was already known as Alameen. He was already known as a trustworthy person, a kind, generous, caring human being. In fact, a man wrote a book, 100 most influential men. And in the book of all these 100 influential men, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was number one. And the man wasn't a Muslim. There was no bias. The man was a Christian. But he acknowledged there was no human being on the planet Earth who had did the work Muhammad the Prophet did to transform the world. When you begin to study that history and look at the condition of the world at that time and see how the Quran transformed all of that, what it did for science, what it did for chemistry, what it did for math, what the Quran did to transform the world, is phenomenal. So the man wrote the book talking about the 100 most influential men. He wasn't a Muslim. But bear witness to truth, he saw that after coming out of that womb, and the revelation came down, Ikra Bismi Rabbika ladhi, that Allah is the one that is developing the life that he created. So Muhammad the Prophet was in that womb. He received that revelation. In fact, Jabal Nur, he was shaped by the light. Don't you know that's where he was at, Jabal Nur? In the cave Hira. And Jabal means to shape. Nur is the light. He was shaped by the light. When that revelation came down, then he became aware of what? His assignment in the world. In Ramadan. New life came into existence. He's no longer now Muhammad Ibn Abdullah, because he had the experience when Jibreel came. He had the experience. He was overwhelmed, not understanding what took place. And then someone else had to tell him what his assignment was. See, sometimes people can see in you what you can't see in yourself. And that's why you have to listen to people. Because Allah allows others to see what you may underestimate. So it was in that month, in this month of Ramadan, that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, became aware of his assignment. So he came out, went in one way. See, you come in this month, you working hard. See, you working on yourself. Whatever bad habits you have, you working on getting stronger, getting better, becoming free. Drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, whatever your vice may be, when you come in this womb and you're reading this Quran and Allah saying to you that I made you a ruler in the earth. Do you understand that? That Allah says you are the Khalifa in the earth. You are the ruler in the earth first by first ruling over yourself. That's a powerful identity. So you come in this month with all your shortcomings. That's why Allah says through Muhammad the Prophet that he will forgive you. You come in this month with all your shortcomings, but I want to wage war on myself. Because I want to become strong, I want to become better, I want to become a contributor, I want to be a plus to society after being a minus. See, taken away. I want to give. So Muhammad the Prophet comes out the womb. Not Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He was shaped and formed. He's a new being, like that baby in the womb. It's growing, he's growing. He has greater awareness now. I'm the messenger of Allah. So he had to, I'm just Muhammad. I didn't know my role was big to carry the message to the world. Now you imagine that. that you have the responsibility to deliver the Quran to the world. So what did Prophet Muhammad say? خَيْرُكُم مِّنْ تُعَلِّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلِّمَهُ. That just as Muhammad delivered the Quran to the world, he says the best of you is he who learns the Quran and then teaches it. See, then you take the same position. You take the same position as Muhammad. You become transformed. Your heart becomes pure. You have love for Allah and love for people, and then you deliver the Quran to the world. Because the only way you can keep the Quran after you learn it, you have to share it with other people. خَيْرُكُم مِّن تُعَلِّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلِّمَهُ. The best of you. Here's the motivation. Of all the people, Allah says, listen here through Muhammad the Prophet, that the best of you is he who learns this mighty revelation that ignited a worldwide revolution, that the best of you is the one who learns this and then has the passion to share it with other people. That should excite you. He says, in fact, he made it easy for us to remember this book. And I said, the only way you can keep it is you have to teach it. And if you want to keep this revelation, knowing what it does for your life, you got to share it with other people. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that the second 10 days is forgiveness. We want Allah to forgive us, and then we learn to forgive one another. This is how we become better, because this whole month is about getting better, strengthening our bonds of having community life. And this month is so powerful that you have beings, millions of human beings all over the world sharing in this experience. This is a powerful spiritual force. See, that the soul can be satisfied. The soul is hungry for something. We've checked the physical hunger because we understand mastery. But there's a higher hunger. And that higher hunger to be satisfied is the spiritual urge. The hunger for a stronger connection with Allah. And as we develop that stronger connection with Him, then we have another hunger to connect with all of His creation. I hope you understand what Ramadan is all about. It's about you getting more in touch with your nature. That's why everything in this month highlights the natural process. That's why the end of the delivery of that life, like any child that is born, there's celebration, there's happiness. The end of this whole process of the transformation and delivering new life is to celebrate what? Fitra. See, natural life, natural living. Because we live in a world that is driven for unnatural ways of functioning. Shaitan has worked in laboratories to create all kind of unnatural beings, unnatural food that goes into your system. And I want to encourage you that this month you really think about what you put in your body. Think about your health. Think about what is shaping you. Read labels. Know what's going in your body. Because whatever goes in your body, that shapes you. You've heard it before that you are what you eat. It's been said over and over and over again. So the soul food, we just mentioned about the soul. The soul has hunger. You're not drinking, You're not eating. The soul is hungry. In fact, the soul is starving. Some people's souls have been malnourished for years. It's hungry. It needs some real nourishment. And the real soul food is this Quran. That's why we talked last time. Muhammad the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that in the Sahur is a blessing. All you need is just a little bit. You don't need a whole bunch. And as I read the Quran, I told you before, as I read the Quran, I see more vegetation, I see more fruit than anything else. And the reason why that's so important is because you need more nutrients than you need bulk. There's so many people living in the world that they're malnourished. They look full, but they're malnourished. They're starving for the proper nutrients that their body needs. Just like the physical body, the soul is starving for love, for compassion, for forgiveness, for generosity, for gratitude. The soul is starving, it's hungry. So we read this Quran, when we read this Quran, we're giving our soul the real soul food. I'm not talking about macaroni and cheese and chicken. I'm not talking about that kind of soul food. I'm talking about the soul food that comes through this book called Quran that does something for your spirit.
Takbir.
So Allah says, it is a book. And this is a book we have revealed as a blessing. So follow it and be conscious of your obligation that you may receive mercy. It's full of blessings. It has everything we need to be strong. So we have vitality. So we can live a productive and prosperous life. That's what Allah wants for us. And this month prepares us for that kind of life. So he says, it is he who shapes you in the womb as he wills. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Assalamu alaikum. So this verse, he says, is a book that's full of blessings. So follow it and be regardful. The word that's used there is for those who have taqwa. That's what this whole month is about, developing the awareness, the consciousness of regardfulness for Allah. It's so important. Taqwa, we mentioned before that it means to protect. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that fasting is a waqiyah. It is a shield. It protects you from the onslaught of influences that are designed from external forces to break you down and destroy your life. So the fast is that which allows those things not to penetrate. And it's so important because it becomes a shield, because the true essence of it is that we're developing a stronger relationship with Allah. When you become one who has a stronger relationship with Allah, then you realize your position in the world. And everything is about position. I don't care what you're involved in. You got to be in the right position. I don't care if you're in football, I don't care if you're in boxing, I don't care if you're teaching, you're in business. If you're not in the right position, you don't come off. You gotta be in the right position. So Allah says, in the earth, He created you and made you what? Here's the position of being a Khalifa. That's the ultimate position. A ruler in the earth. And when you get outside that position, your position is weakened. And the Caliph is not just the one who has mastery of himself, but the Caliph is also the one who come behind others who already paved the way. They showed you it's doable. They showed you how you can change your life. They showed you it's possible. Because some people just don't believe. That's why the verse began about fasting. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kutiba alaykumus siyam. Oh, you believe. Fasting is prescribed to you, as it was prescribed to those before you. See, other people have already gone before you, showing you it's possible. And then the other verse says about fasting that it is best that you fast if you only knew. And let me tell you one thing. Sometimes you have to come into this mindset that you just don't know what you don't know. There's so much out there in the world that you don't know what you don't know. Allah is constantly revealing, constantly exposing so much. It's so much out there that you don't know what you don't know. And this verse says, it is best for you that you fast if you only knew. Some people underestimate the power of the fast. The fast will work miracles in your life. Spiritually, physically, emotionally, intellectually, financially. Just think about the money you've been saving. On the junk food you may have been putting in your body. I remember I was reading where Dick Gregory said, food or something to eat. You know what that means? Food or something to eat. So I know you heard and remember you said, or someone said, I gotta get me something to eat. But don't mean it's food. Because a lot of people are malnourished, although they're putting something to eat in their bodies. And I mention malnourishing because there's so many people who are hungry, there's so many people who are starving. Poverty. People are literally starving to death throughout the world. I'm not talking about starving to just play. I'm talking about literally starving because they have no food. Now here's the verse of the Quran where Allah talks about food. Listen to this right. He says, "O you who believe, eat of the good things that we have provided for you and be grateful to Allah if it is Him that you serve." Eat of the good things of the earth. See, some people they just got something to eat, but it ain't good for them. That's why I told you before that what you put in your body makes up the cells in your body. Therefore, it makes you. So that we become more regardful of this precious body Allah gave us as a trust. And I want to caution you. I want to remind you of the sacredness of this life. Because Allah says He created the human being noble in the best of modes. So if Ramadan is about raising taqwa, and taqwa means to preserve and to protect, then we have to preserve and to protect this physical body. So think about what you put in your body. Because whatever you put in your body, that's going to make the cells in your body. And a large portion of the illnesses we find in the world is based on what goes into the body. It has been noted that there are at least 925 million malnourished people throughout the world. This means that 1 out of every 7 people don't get enough food, good food, for a healthy, active, and productive life. Yeah, malnourished. So Allah says here, "Oh, you believe, eat of the good thing that we provided for you." After we made Tawee last night, we was talking about some food, talking about how some people grew up, and sometimes been hard. A mayonnaise sandwich, a ketchup sandwich. I mean, hard times, and people actually have to live trying to find some food. Seen a guy one time go to his house, he takes cereal and put the bowl under the faucet, the water. I've never seen that before. Water with cereal. But people have been starving. And the verse says, he said, eat of the good things we provided and be grateful. So you should be grateful for what Allah has given you. Man, you can eat a meal. And not only that, but you have the capacity to stop eating. But some people are trying to find something to eat. And we've been blessed with an abundance of food. Allah says, and waste not. Man, people throw away literally meals in America. They throw away meals in America. So we have a lot to be thankful for. So we're in this womb called Ramadan, fasting for 29 or 30 days. Reading this Quran, shaping our mind, touching our spirit, satisfying the spiritual hunger, the hunger to reconnect with Allah, to become more committed to do this work, to serve Him, to take the highest position in the world, which is to be Abdullah. You can go no higher than being a slave servant of Allah. So when you take the position of Abdullah, then you're not a slave to things. Then you're not a slave to people. Then you're not a slave to opportunity. You're not a slave to money and fast. You are free. And Allah says, and you are, as Muhammad the Prophet, a free man of the city. وَأَنْتُ بِهَذُ بَلَدٍ. You are a free man, because a lot of people are locked up in city life. وَأَنْتُ بِهَذُ بَلَدٍ. A lot of people are locked up in city life. We want to be free. And if we commit ourselves to serve Allah and assume the position that He gave us as Khalifa, we will be free enough to shape this new life, deliver that life, and make this contribution to the world. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah.